Robert De Niro, Rob Reiner, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and others. From The View, Rachel Maddow, Mark Ruffalo, Mark Hamill, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Richard Marx, Alec Baldwin, Pink, Ron Howard, Julia Roberts, George Clooney, Leo DiCaprio, Oprah, Cardi B, Lizzo, Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, Jennifer Garner, J-Lo, Andy Cohen, Cher, Bryan Cranston, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kathy Griffin, Michael Keaton, Rosie O'Donnell, John Stamos, Eva Longoria, John Legend and his wife, Spike Lee, Sean Astin, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jon Stewart, Bill Maher, Alyssa Milano, Bruce Springsteen, Barbara Streisand, Mark Cuban, and others.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Opinions Vary. That's Opinions with an A. Please like, share, and subscribe. Great to have you with me today. And we're going to look at a couple of videos right now to see if the lawfare against President Trump is finally going to end now that he is once again President-elect Trump. So we're going to hear from New York State Attorney General Letitia James, hear what she has to say, comment a little bit along the way, and then we'll look at a Fox News report talking about the ongoing cases that are still pending. So let's get into it.
And lastly, I congratulate the President-elect Donald Trump. And if possible, we will work with his administration. But we will not compromise our values.
Right away, we're gonna cause problems. That's what she's saying in so many words. We're gonna cause problems. We're gonna cause havoc. We're gonna try to do whatever we can to stop his agenda. That's what she's saying. Whether she can do it or not at this point, I don't think so. But she's gonna try anything she can to make life difficult.
Or our integrity, or our principles. We did not expect this result, but we are prepared to respond to this
She almost looks like she wants to cry. She probably did cry before she came out here.
result. And my office has been preparing for several months because we've been here before.
Thought you just said you didn't expect this result, so what have you been preparing for? If you didn't expect it, why were you preparing? Was it just in case?
We faced this challenge before, and we used the rule of law to fight back.
AKA lawfare.
And we are prepared to fight back once again. Because as the Attorney General of this great state, it is my job to protect and defend the rights of New Yorkers and the rule of law.
Screw the rest of the country. Let me do whatever I can to make the incoming president's life difficult, even when he's president, just because I have an agenda and I have a personal axe to grind. Forget about the rest of the country that just overwhelmingly mandated him and gave him the popular vote by about 4 points.
And I will not shrink from that responsibility.
So in a second, we're going to hear from Bill Barr. I don't want to do it. I don't want Trump to do it. I almost don't want him to go and try to get back at these people because there's too many other important things to do. There's too many things to fix. The border, the economy, getting inflation under control, just everything that's been destroying us for the past 4 years. We need him to take care of that and fulfill the promises he made during his campaign. But there's a part of me that absolutely wants to see him kick the tires on these people like Letitia James. See what we could find. You know, show me the man and I'll find you the crime. That's what they've been doing to Trump. So it's almost like I do want him to, but in a way I don't. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comments and give me your opinion on that, because I'm curious what you think, how you feel. Should he just do it? Can he walk and chew gum at the same time? Do that and still get everything done? If he can, I say go for it at this point. Kick the tires on these people. Let's see what we can dig up, just like they did to him. You know, two could play that game.
I think the president really is going to have any legal problems going forward. These cases are not going to go forward, neither the federal cases nor the state cases against the president. So I think it's really a question of how these governments, the federal government, the Justice Department, is going to dismount from the limb it's gotten itself out on.
Katie Cherkasky is a constitutional law attorney, former federal prosecutor, joins me now. Chanley did a really good synopsis of what's going on. Let's start with the Fed cases. We have documents. We have election interference. Chanley mentioned that DOJ longstanding policy, a sitting president cannot be prosecuted. That phrase, wind down, Jack Smith's case. Describe what a wind down of Jack Smith.
Can we kick the tires on Jack Smith a little bit? Why not? That's what I'm saying. Why? It's really tempting just to put them through the turmoil, to have the weight of the government down on you. You can't defeat that. The amount of money you have to spend, the time you have to put in, it bogs down your entire existence. I mean, that's what they deserve. They deserve it.
This cases looks like.
Well, I think big picture here, if you haven't been able to convict someone in the court of public opinion, there's really no legitimate way you can convict them in a court of law. And every prosecutor has discretion about what cases they bring forward. These cases, we've called them lawfare, and that's because they're cases that have stretched the bounds of any prior precedent. They're never before seen interpretations of criminal law. So in terms of winding down these cases, they essentially can dismiss them really at any time.
Right. What she just said is absolutely true. All these cases are unprecedented. Well, now there's precedents now because they did it. So let's use the precedents that they created against them. Why not?
Or obviously when Donald Trump takes office, he will dismiss the cases and summarily fire Jack Smith. So there's many different ways that the cases could end. They're not practically going to trial anytime soon, even if Trump had lost. But at this point, I do agree that they need to be concluded.
Then there is the New York State Court case. All focus now goes there. This is the Stormy Daniels case. He's got sentencing less than 3 weeks from now. What happens there?
Well, that case also is complicated because of the Supreme Court's ruling regarding immunity. So essentially, there is sentencing scheduled, but before that can even proceed, Judge Merchan is expected to rule on whether that case actually is tainted by the immunity ruling, meaning that they allowed in inadmissible evidence and that the case would essentially have to be reversed and go back to trial, or ultimately go back up to the Supreme Court to determine whether the immunity ruling impacted it. So for all intents and purposes, again, that case could also be dismissed. But
Sentence him to jail. Put him in jail right before he goes to the White House. His approval rating will be at 95% the day by January 20th. Go ahead, do it. Put him in jail. Make him serve some time before he goes into the White House as the 47th president. Go ahead. See how that works out for you. This has really worked out great for the Democrats now. It's really, really done the job. You know what this all did? It made Trump cool. It made Trump cool to a whole different demographic of this country. Young people, like him now. Like, it's cool. He's fighting the system. This is truly fighting the system. This is punk rock. This is punk. All the Democrats, all these people that were punk in the past, they're the opposite of it now. They want the government to take care of them, cradle to the grave. They want the man. Donald Trump is the one fighting the man. So the boomerang effect this has had, nobody could have seen this. Nobody.
It doesn't have to be. If there is any adverse ruling to President Trump, it's immediately appealable, meaning that if Judge Merchan says the immunity case does not end that case summarily, that would be essentially appealed anyway. And then, of course, I guess he could sentence him at some point to jail time, again, something that would be immediately appealable and probably stayed pending a decision by the higher court. So for all practical purposes, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. The question is how far these people will continue to push these cases.
Let's sit down to Georgia, the Georgia election interference case. Is this thing dead too?
Well,
You want to talk about a disgrace? That case with Willis and her boyfriend. I mean, are you kidding? The case should have been thrown out immediately. But like I said, unprecedented, all this stuff, use it against them. Play the game. A political sword is never sheathed. There's always two sides to that sword. It's going to be up to Donald Trump to see if he wants to use the other side. We'll see what he does. It's going to be interesting.
of course, with state cases, the president doesn't have the right to pardon themselves or to have their attorney general essentially end those cases. But the Georgia case, again, has so many significant legal issues that are still up on appeal that even if Trump had lost, that case would still not be heading to trial anytime soon. So I think that the case still has a chance to be overturned essentially by the appellate courts. But even if it's not, it eventually will have significant problems getting reviewed by the Supreme Court anyway. So it won't proceed while he's in office. For all intents and purposes, it is also basically dead in the water.
I want you to write a headline for this entire segment. Is lawfare dead?
Well, I would hope so. I think that it spectacularly failed. And when we talk about lawfare, again, we're talking about the use of the legal system against a political opponent. Hypocritically, the Democrats have claimed Trump was going to be doing that. They've been doing that for years against him, and it blew up right in their faces.
And there you have it. So, will Trump now do it to them? He never did it before. Like I said, the projection was, Trump's going to do this, Trump's going to do that. And the whole time they were the ones doing it to him. Well, now he's got the chance to do it. I said in the beginning, there's a part of me that doesn't want him to do it. But there is a part of me, and imagine if you were him, the temptation there must be, after the misery they put this man through and his family, to do it. And if, like I said before, if he can walk and chew gum at the same time, which I think he can do pretty well, he's a pretty good multitasker, right? If he can multitask, I'm going to lean on the side of saying, hey, like I said, kick the tires on these people. Let's see what we could find, because that's the precedent they've set. So you guys tell me what you think in the comments. Whether you think he should do it, whether he shouldn't do it, whether you're on the fence, let me know. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate you watching. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time, and opinions vary.